Hello, everybody. Brian Engelman wanted to check in. It's been a long couple of days. Was out in Joshua Tree for the Contact in the Desert event. It was a lot of driving, a lot of camping. Um, Very interesting event. I believe I'm going to go back and go for a little bit longer. Maybe go Thursday or Friday or Saturday or Sunday, Monday. It was tough. Couldn't get in till Saturday. Um, I'm sorry, very late Friday, and had to leave Sunday. So I'll be doing another video. I'll give you a report, kind of a breakdown of what happened at Contact in the Desert. It was a good event. But I'm getting back in the loop of things. Good to be back, and I want to talk about what's going on in the world right now. A few things. Hugo Chavez, where he grew up, that home was burned by protesters, burned down. Kim.com, this is an interesting one. DNC leak to Wikipedia. I say that all the time, Wikipedia, WikiLeaks, of course. Um, Saying that it came from inside. So this is really more about the Seth Rich case, the possible assassination of Seth Rich, the former DNC staffer. Right around the time Podesta talked about making an example of people killed in a robbery. And then I'm hearing reports that he wasn't dead when he got to the hospital and that all the crew was shuffled out. He was up and talking for hours. I'm just hearing reports. Can't confirm that part, but what I can confirm for you is that there may be more to this story, so we're going to keep digging into Seth Rich. Let's see if Kim.com has anything tomorrow. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Um, Bitcoin, $2,000. $2,000 a coin. Glad I got some. But man, is this predicting something? Is something on the way? We'll find out. They're saying O.J. Simpson might be paroled soon. We'll find out about that. Fox News has slipped to number 3 for the first time since the first few months of George W. Bush's presidency back in 2000. Number 3. Roger Ailes dead. Glenn Beck left. Bill O'Reilly's gone. A whole bunch of stuff happening over there. Megyn Kelly's gone. Greta Van Susteren. Fox is changing. Fox is really changing. It's just interesting. Something to keep an eye on. President Trump went to the Middle East. So this is very interesting. Very different tone of what's going on with President Trump talking about, this really isn't about a religion versus religion or any of that stuff, and we're not going to try to tell you how to live. This is about good and evil. And there are evil, sadistic people in ISIS that need to be eliminated from the planet. They need to be killed. They need to be removed, and it's all of our responsibility to do it. And like clockwork, go ahead and cue the attack. The attack happened at Ariana Grande, and I gotta tell you, I don't listen to her music, but I don't really like covering these events when there's a shooting like this. I don't like covering the event right off the bat because you just don't have enough information and you're just guessing, you're just speculating, and I don't find it incredibly valuable until you can let the dust settle, let the air clear, as it were. And so here's what we're at. We got 22 people dead at this Ariana Grande concert. It was a nail bomb, apparently a murder, a suicide blast in Manchester. You got ISIS celebrating, and they're just wondering how many more people in the UK. Some reports have 3,500 suspected terrorists in the UK. Okay, well, that's what happens when you don't care about your border. Sorry, it doesn't make any sense to leave open borders. I've never understood that philosophy. I've never understood that line of thought. I really think that's where the Libertarian Party gets it really wrong. All you're saying is you put a lock on your door. That's common sense. I forget who was interviewing him, but it was Tony Danza, and he was having a conversation. And I found it very interesting. Um, and he just told a story about his father telling him to put a bike lock on his bike to keep the honest people honest, and that always stuck with me. Um, but yeah, immigration, borders, the wall, interesting symbology of President Trump at the Western Wall today. Um, by the way, it's getting easier. It's been a rough few months actually, just trying to get through this whole political nonsense and trying to figure out what's going on as the Democrats are hyperventilating and have been pretty much nonstop. You got Comey, you got Mueller, you got all this stuff going on trying to investigate to see if Russia was involved in stuff. I mean, meanwhile, it didn't just come out last year that the CIA and the United States were behind overthrowing the leaders of Iran. I mean, wasn't Obama actively pushing against Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel? Like, the hypocrisy is stunning. All this stuff. Um, I don't know anyone that would want a Manchurian candidate, but show me some evidence already, or please shut up. I need more than nothing. And in the absence of it, you're really going to have to move along to another story. But anyway, like I was saying, like clockwork, President Trump needs a distraction, so he goes over to. Now, I'm not saying they did this. I'm not saying that they're behind this bombing at this Ariana Grande concert. Just saying that it happened. But it's something that's near and dear to me. I'm trying to show you something here, but I don't know how to do this. Oop, hold on, right there. That is a signed T-shirt from when I was at Bowling Green State University, and I was the concert director for the University Activities Organization. And we booked a few concerts, and we booked Moby opening for Bush in the MTV Campus Invasion tour, and it was amazing. It was 4,300 people, sold out in a day, effectively, and it was one of the coolest events. $100,000 show. I was a 20-year-old kid running that thing. Obviously, the student advisors jumped in, but I was the one that wrote the contract. I was the one that submitted the bid. I think it was a $55,000 bid, if I'm not mistaken, to the William Morris Talent Agency. I think it's now William Morris Endeavor or just Endeavor. I can't keep track. But anyway, when you put on events, you're always thinking about security. You're always thinking about, well, what if somebody passes out from heat exhaustion? What if somebody has an overdose? What if somebody has an insulin shock? What if somebody suffers, something unexpected happens, big slice in their arm, or you just go down a list. You got to have a plan in place. You have to be working with your local officials. You have to get that all set up. So it's always something that you want to think about. When I was back in Cleveland, hold on, how do I do this? There we go. That's LeBron James celebrating with the Cleveland Cavaliers championship last year. I went back for the parade, and during the parade, and I don't tell this story very often because I don't want to rain on the parade of what has happened. But there was an event. We were leaving the area that we had kind of camped out at for many, many hours that day. And when we were hanging out with some friends, a whole bunch of people started running, and then more people were running, and people were screaming, and we just took off running. This was right after, I believe, what was it, the Paris attacks, or they drove the truck up onto the promenade or the pedestrian mall, kind of like what you saw in New York last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever that was. But everybody started running, so we ran through the restaurant, we ran into their kitchen, we ran out of their side door and into the alley by the dumpster, and then there were people still running back there. We were caught up in a panic. Apparently, there was some kid that fired a gun. I don't know, it was like some 16-year-old shot his 14-year-old girlfriend or something in the leg. Nothing too serious, but it was Orlando. I'm trying to remember, and that's the problem. We can't even keep track of these. When was Orlando? When was Boston Marathon? When was it? This crap is going on. It's a cancer on our planet. This stuff is just continuing. Um, I'm very thankful that we have a president in place that's going to be doing some extreme vetting. I, look, I don't. What is the solution here? I don't know how we fix this. I don't know how. I don't know how. But I'm getting really tired of covering school shootings. I'm getting really tired of covering attacks on innocent people, innocent civilians. Um, a concert targeting little girls. Good job, tough guy. Have a great time in hell. Have a great time in hell. So, no, nothing is sacred. No, nothing is safe. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to tell you that. But that is the reality of things. That is the truth of this world. So I encourage you to kind of have a plan in place. You want to have some sort of plan in place. Now, apparently, this bomb was set off outside of the concert. Now, I'll tell you, I know people that have flown past TSA with things that should theoretically not have gotten past TSA. So when you go through that whole thing, a lot of it, the lines and the backscatter scanners and the wands and the pat downs. I do the pat downs. I opt out. Um, some of that is a false sense of security, and you're just going to have to be aware of that. And I know other people that get into lots of events without tickets and without security screening. So it is possible that these things could be happening. However, but I mean, the Bataclan shooting, Eagles of Death Metal, I talked with Jesse Hughes. You can check that out online at youtube.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. Click subscribe, please. Leave some comments. Went to the NAMM convention in Anaheim in January, and I talked with him. And I mean, he was on stage when all these radical Islamist idiots opened fire. That was inside the club. This one was apparently outside, targeting little girls, and the parents of little girls. That is just fantastic. Just horrible. Um, but the point is that you need to have a plan. You need to have some sort of game plan. You need to be aware of your surroundings. You need to make sure that you know what's going on. You know, when you go into a venue, you know the other ways to get out. Restaurants, bars, there's always a back way. There's always a back way or a side way. Um, I ended up going with my friend Tom yesterday to go see Jason Bonham and Led Zeppelin. The Led Zeppelin. Hang on, what's the ticket say? It's there we go. Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Experience. And I was talking to Tom, and I was saying, look, when we went to the Bundy Ranch, we went out to the Bundy Ranch and covered it, and people were telling us that they were pointing up to the mountains. They say, you see that mountain range over there? See that? That's where a sniper is. That's where a sniper is. That's where a sniper is. And they were flying the helicopters over. So you knew that you were in a rough situation. I know some people like Ford Fisher and a bunch of people that I know, that they've gone to either Ferguson or Baltimore. And it can be dangerous. It can be real dangerous being at the center of the storm. So you got to have a plan. You got to have a concept, some sort of idea of what's plan A, what's plan B, what's plan C, what's a rally point if we can't meet up. I mean, these are important things. In the chaos, if something goes weird, where do you meet? Where's a safe location slightly away? Now is the time to think about that. But I was telling Tom yesterday at the Led Zeppelin thing. By the way, the Led Zeppelin show was sick. It was amazing. If you're a Led Zeppelin fan, you're not going to find a better Led Zeppelin cover band than Jason Bonham. Of course, that's John Bonham, the original drummer of Led Zeppelin's Kid. Um, and another great show, something you should check out on YouTube as soon as this video's over, or press pause and go find it. Hart and Jason Bonham at the Kennedy Center Awards. Oh, that rendition of Stairway to Heaven is absolutely unbelievable. Great show last night. I recommend it if you're a big Zeppelin fan. But I was telling him about when we went to the RNC. We went to the Republican convention and the Democratic convention last year. And my brother Chris, who's been integral with the New American Media since our inception, my brother, he helped us run communications. So we had multiple layers of redundant communication methods, so that in case something were to have occurred, we would have had a plan. Okay? So it was good being on the road and having someone to help coordinate. All right, check in with us on the hour, every hour, and then just knowing that you're in instant communication. So something happened, someone's checking on you, someone's ready, someone knows where you are, and if you don't check in, it's, do you have to activate the dead man switch? Do you have to implement certain protocols? So anyway, I was telling Tom at the Led Zeppelin show yesterday about how you need to have a plan. You need to do, your operational security. You need to do your reconnaissance. You need to know where your alternate exit routes may be. You need to be aware of your surroundings, all that stuff. And I said when we went to Bundy Ranch and RNC, it was very important then. So here we are today. Not even 24 hours later. It just proves that statement right. Unfortunately, I wish it's something that I didn't have to talk to you about. I wish this wasn't happening on this planet. I wish we could cage or kill all of the monsters. I really wish we could. But in the absence of knowing exactly how to do that, you got to have your plan. I was having another conversation, and I said, by the way, I don't know where I picked this up, but if there's a mad rush of people running, charging, and like I said, I've been in this before, and it's not fun. If there's a post, if there's a wall, if there's a post, if there's something in the middle of the charge, get behind it. Just get behind the post, because the people are going to either go left or right, or right or left. I don't know how it's coming through. But they're not going to go straight through it, because what earlier today when this Ariana Grande when this event was happening, I didn't know if these people had been trampled. I didn't want to guess radical Islamic terrorism, although that's the first thing you think. It's such an amazing reputation these idiots have. These radical Islamic terrorists. Great reputation, guys. Going after little girls. Enjoy hell. But I didn't know. I didn't know. The initial reports were it could have been anything. It could have been anything in the beginning. So, it's. I had the conversation just saying, hey, make sure, if you're ever in this situation, just get behind that and ride it out. And then the follow up was, what, so I could get killed by a gunman? It's like, man, I don't know. Just put that in your bag of tricks, and if it ever becomes relevant, try it. I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. I was at Woodstock in 1999, shortly after I had a knee surgery, and I'd just gotten off my crutches, tore my ACL, and it was Limp Bizkit, and we were in the middle of, I don't know, 600,000 people, about in the middle, not up close for the mosh pit, not all the way back, somewhere in the middle. And when the mosh pit got started, it grew and grew and grew and grew. This was the concert that Red Hot Chili Peppers played, covered Jimi Hendrix, Let Me Stand Next to Your Fire. There was an idiot peace group, I think it was PAX or something, PAX, I don't remember exactly, but they passed out thousands of these peace candles. So after several days of camping out in the hot sun and the desert and the sweltering heat and the gross porta potties and the non-functioning running water that you were promised and the $10 bottles of water they were trying to gouge you for. Yeah, a lot of people lit those candles and then lit the piece of wood next to them, and it got dicey at the end of Woodstock '99. 600,000 people, agitated, drunken, drugged. Some of them, of course, not all of them. It got real out there. Um, but when I was in the middle of that mosh pit, at some point, you just realize you're kind of at the mercy of Mother Nature. A mosh pit, a concert like that, it's not a one-on-one interaction. It's not you in an environment. You are the environment, and it is in charge. It's like if you're out on a boat. The ocean is bigger than you. The ocean has been there longer. The ocean is going to do what the ocean is going to do. If you get caught in a storm, whew, I almost, I almost capsized, perhaps. A jet ski with my buddy. We went out one time on Lake Erie. Could have fallen in. Luckily, I had my life jacket on. Otherwise, I might not be here right now. But there was a small craft advisory that kicked up last second. We didn't know about it, and it kept flipping the damn thing, and I had to swim back to shore. You know, every mundane experience, whether it's going to the Whole Foods parking lot, where it's getting real. Okay, YouTube that one too. It's getting real in the Whole Foods parking lot. Kind of funny. But anything that you do could be a situation where you need to be alert, and that's why it's good when you go out in public to be in the right frame of mind for that, so that you can have your keenest, sharpest wits about you. It'll give you a better chance of success. So, look, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Ariana Grande sends out her tweet, broken from the bottom of my heart. I am so sorry. I don't have words. 1.111 million likes, 566,000 retweets. I am getting really tired of doing these stories. I was also at the Hollywood House of Blues up on Sunset. They've since closed it down, which is a shame. It was a wonderful venue. A lot of good concerts there, but one I saw was Dimebag Darrell. It was a tribute to Dimebag Darrell, the guitar player for Pantera. He was shot and killed on stage in Columbus, not too far from where I grew up, and just outside of Cleveland, and went and saw a show there. I mean, it was Dave Navarro and Chester Bennington and Aaron Lewis and just on and on and on. So many great musicians, and I'm getting tired of hearing stories like this. Why would you go on stage? Why would you go kill a heavy metal legend guitar player on stage? Why would you do that? Why are you setting off bombs outside of an Ariana Grande concert? I don't know. It's up to you and me to have a plan. Survive to thrive, thrive to survive. I got a catchphrase in my head, and it didn't quite come out right. Pardon the pause, but if you put your plan in place, you're going to have a chance to thrive. You're going to have a chance to survive. The one that I do like is there's no reason to be scared when you're prepared. No reason to be scared when you're prepared. So, keep in mind the Eagles of Death Metal Bataclan shooting. Keep in mind the Pantera incident. Keep in mind Times Square. Keep in mind the Boston bombing. Keep in mind all this stuff. Don't let it ruin your day. Don't go there. Don't get wrapped up in the murder porn. Don't get wrapped up in the fear porn. Don't do it. Be aware of it. Identify it. But it doesn't have to control you. I was talking to a neighbor kid. Kid helps me garden. Lives next door over here. For several years, he's helped me garden. But I was talking to him today. We were talking about phobias. And he was telling me, he watched a video and he has this phobia of this. I go, well, maybe. I go, but maybe the thing that you're talking about. It's just something you don't prefer. It's something you don't like. Maybe it doesn't have to be a phobia, a full blown, I can't be in this room anymore. I got to go. You know, it doesn't have to run your life. You can just identify, no, I don't care for this. This is making me feel uncomfortable. I would rather be anywhere else. But I'm going to take a couple deep breaths. I'm going to get through this, and it's no big deal. A lot of it is in how we process what's happening. So don't get down on the world. So don't let the world get you down. Not everyone here is that fucked up and cold. Incubus. Sorry, I'm trying to remember the rest of the lyrics now. I don't want to say. So don't let the world get you down. Not everyone here is that fucked up and cold. So while you're gone and while you're alive, experience the warmth before you go. Sorry, I'm missing like 3 words there. It's late at night. I got to stop doing these at 2:02 in the morning. But you know, the schedule's been a little quirky lately. We're gonna get this back on track for you. I'm hoping to talk to Dan Johnson from Panda Solutions Institute and the Tax Revolution Institute. Looking at Monday, perhaps, trying to get a show set up with AJ, goes by Anomaly. You see him on there. Talked to some interesting people this weekend. Some people I'm hoping to continue some conversations with. Richard Dolan, Clyde Lewis, Jimmy Church, George Norrie, Giorgio Tsoukalos, Eric Von Doniken. It was a very interesting weekend. I had a chance to say hello to a lot of interesting people. Some stories they're covering. They're very interested in Ben Swan. Very interested in not all of them, but some of these people. Ben Swan, Seth Rich. A lot of the stories that I've been covering, a lot of these people are really into as well. So it gives me a little bit of hope. And I just hope I can bring you some more of these shows coming up. You know, really get on a regular routine with these. We've had technical difficulties. That's why we've gone to this format now, which is fine for a one-on-one. But when it comes to a radio interview, you know, I got to figure out how we're going to be doing that. If we're going to be splicing it back and forth the whole time. But I digress. The New American Media, this is just getting going. I mean, yes, we're 6 years in, but this is a really good time. I know that great things are ahead, and I'm not going to let the world get me down, because not everyone here is that fucked up and cold. What is the next word to that? Hang on, you know what? I gotta search it. Oh, if it'll... I don't even know what this is. It's great when your web browser's so confusing you don't even know what you... Okay, I don't know what this is either. It's incredible. Hang on. I'm gonna look this up. Yeah, because Incubus did release an album. Sorry. Incubus did release an album. I gotta type on another computer here. There we go. I'm going to read you all these lyrics. Okay. I'm going to cancel this program, cancel that program. There we go. Here's the warmth. I'd like to close my eyes and go numb. Okay, hang on. My Incubus released number 8. Incubus number 8 this week. Or, I don't know, a couple weeks ago or something. First 4, 5, 6, 7, there's some catchy singing stuff. It's not going to be Incubus from Make Yourself or Science. Definitely not Fungus Among Us. That's good. I checked it out. I liked it, and so I used it. Drove back and forth to Contact in the Desert, listening to Incubus 8, and it was good stuff. So, anyway, here we go. Oh, gotta click here to see the rest. Everything's click, 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 click. Here we go. From one of my favorite alternative rock albums, Incubus. The Warmth. Yeah, off the Make Yourself album. Okay, lyrics. I'd like to close my eyes and go numb, but there's a cold wind blowing from the top of the highest high rise today. It's not a breeze 'cause it blows hard. Yes, and it wants me to discard The humanity I know watch the warmth blow away. Do you think I should adhere to that pressing new frontier and leave in my wake a trail of fear? Or should I hold my head up high and throw a wrench in spokes by, leaving the air behind me clear? Don't let the world bring you down. Not everyone here is that fucked up and cold. Remember why you there we go. Remember why you came, and while you're alive, experience the warmth before you grow old. In Contact in the Desert, I mean, a lot of it was, are we talking Anunnaki? Are we talking slave species? Are we talking genetic manipulation? Are we talking panspermia? Are we talking beings from the heavens descending from the stars? Clones, drones, made in God's image? We are part of God. All of this stuff. These are the most important questions. I sure love watching the Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA playoffs. I like watching these guys. Well, hopefully turn it around and become a contender sometime soon, very soon, hopefully this year. Take the steps for that. I'm interested in a lot of stuff. Oh, by the way, I'm going to bring you garden videos. Uh, really making progress in the garden, trying to get as much food production going on as possible. So more of that is coming. I'm going to get you some videos about that. But the important stuff is, who are we? How did we get? I was talking with Nick Pope. You should check him out as well, with Giorgio and Eric. And we just brought it back down to, I just said, hey, the most important things we're trying to figure out are, who are we? How did we get here? What are we supposed to be doing while we're here? And what happens when we leave here? That's the important stuff. But remember, experience the warmth before you grow old. Remember why you came and while you're alive. See, that's an interesting part of it too, where there's that theory that we chose to be here. We want to be here right now, and we get sick of it, and we get burned out of all the misery, the bad news, the murder porn, the fear porn. Sorry, I know CNN and MSNBC, they're going to get right back to Trump and Comey in Russia. Like, you got to be kidding me. Can't even cover this story. It was pretty stunning. Flipping the channels, just, oh, it's sad. But the theory that we want to be here. So don't let the world get you down, because not everyone here is that fucked up and cold. So remember why you came, and while you're alive, experience the warmth before you grow old. All right? So be prepared, have a plan. Don't let these assholes win. Don't succumb to this. Don't get bitter, don't get jaded, don't get mean. Don't let that become a part of you. Ooh, what's that quote from Nietzsche? Let me see. I think I shared. Did I share this? I got to look real quick. Let's see. Well, it's going to be a lot more compelling if it turns out that I did share it, so that I can reference it. I can paraphrase it if I absolutely have to. But it was about Nietzsche. Yep, not seeing it. So I'll paraphrase it. It was something along the lines of, be careful when you're fighting monsters, lest you become a monster. Paraphrased. And it's tough. It's tough. The stuff that we see and the stuff that we cover. I don't want to be talking about Kelly Thomas on Coast to Coast AM. I was thrilled that, John B. Wells allowed me on the program, and we had a half-hour schedule a couple years ago, one of his last shows. We started with a half hour, and then talked with Gina, and then we ended up doing a full hour. It was great talking to millions of people in the listening audience. It was great to finally be on Coast, not just as a caller, but as a guest. One of these days, as a host, who knows? But, I don't want to do these things that are, allegedly a feather in your cap. It's something on your resume. You go, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, you did that thing. That was nice. But I did that for the Kelly Thomas murder. It didn't turn into a murder case. The officers were acquitted. I couldn't believe it. It was on video. If you want to ruin your day, watch. Type in Kelly Thomas killing. Type it in on YouTube. You'll see. And then ask yourself, how did these Fullerton, California police officers, how did they get off? How did the jury not find them guilty? You know, I don't want to be covering lousy stuff, so I'm struggling with this right now. Do I just want to do fun stuff and talk some sports and tell some jokes and find some cool things, or do I want to cover the hard news and do I want to make this my living? I was watching an episode of Naked and Afraid, and this girl, she was on there. Uh, yeah, I was preparing for my camping trip by watching Naked and Afraid, so nothing seemed bad at that point. But this girl was on there, and she was a police officer, and or worked in the department somewhere, and she ended up working in like the child abuse and the child murder department, and strongly suffering from post traumatic stress disorder. How couldn't you? How wouldn't you? Actually, you have to look at that stuff on a daily basis. How do you leave your work at home when that's what it is? So, that's what we're just trying to figure out here. The New American Media. I mean, are we going to go hardcore into the news? Are we going to do a mix? Are we going to do more entertainment? More of the distractions, more of the important stuff? I like the blend. I used to make the joke that politics is so annoying and current events can be so frustrating and depressing that you have to. You go over and you start watching your sports as a distraction. But as a Cleveland sports fan, the misery of rooting for the Cleveland Browns leads me to go back to watch the politics again, because that's got to be better than watching that crappy football team. Kind of a joke, but now the city of champions, Cleveland, LeBron James, Cavaliers. That was a great year last year. Let's go for the repeat, shall we? You got to be careful when fighting monsters to make sure you don't become a monster yourself. So, yeah. Hold your head up high, throw a wrench and spokes by, leaving the air behind you clear. Don't let the world bring you down. How about that? We'll end on that tonight. Don't let the world bring you down. Prayers to all the people impacted by this. Yeah. Prayers to all the people impacted by this, of course. And hopefully we can meet again under some good circumstances next time. Maybe one of these days it'll all be rosy and wonderful. But as they say in the news business, if it bleeds, it leads, right? I don't know. Maybe there's a better way forward. Maybe it doesn't have to be this way. Maybe we can experience the warmth before we grow old. All right. I'll talk to you later. Subscribe, youtube.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. @American_media_ on Twitter. Facebook, definitely The New American Media. Instagram /TheNewAmericanMedia. Instagram.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. Follow us on all these places. We tend to put different things in different spots. But yeah, we have 6 years of content on the YouTube channel. Leave some comments. Hey, let those ads play. If you let those ads play, it's a couple pennies in our wishing well. We like that. Or you can go to Patreon, patreon.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. You can sign up to fund us, which would be great, because the more funding we have, the more of this we can do. We've done a lot, but it's time to up the game. It really is time to up the game. So anyhow, follow us in all these places. I appreciate you. I love you. We'll talk to you again soon. Peace.